Back once again with Brian Murphy from the Toledo Public School District. As it's tough to say to some kids, and I apologize right now, school is ever closer to starting up again. What I think is going to be interesting about your district this year is the transformation plan, how you're doing things so differently this year. Middle school, no more. Elementary school now. Do you think that's going to be tough for parents to try to not only figure out what's going on, but get all the terminology down right and work it into their students' everyday life?
Yeah, we've been very transparent with the community. We're hoping that they have all the information they need so we can begin this year very smoothly. As we move forward into next school year, we have several initiatives going on, and we're very excited about those initiatives. We'll have 41 K-8 elementary schools in the district. We'll have 6 traditional high schools, and then we'll have TTA, Toledo Technology Academy, and then Toledo Early College High School as well. Okay, and
we were talking before we got on here, just the terminology. There's no such thing as a middle school anymore in Toledo Public Schools.
That's correct. No such thing as a middle school. All of our previous 6th, 7th, and 8th graders or 7th and 8th grade schools will now be part of their elementary setting, K-8s.
So I'm assuming you've already gone through the process of alerting parents if there's any sort of movement. Was there a lot of movement of kids going to different buildings as you put this plan together?
I would say overall there was a minimal movement, and as part of that process, before we made any decisions in regard to going to K-8s, we were very transparent in the community by going out, having community forums, communicating with parents, making sure it's something that they wanted to happen. And we had overwhelming support that they wanted K-8 buildings, more of a community concept, and we definitely wanted to provide them what they wanted.
Okay, and I'm assuming there was a little bit of resistance to moving kids in any sort of building, but were you able to pretty much explain to the parents, listen, this is why we're doing it, this is where they're going? I mean, was that a difficult process?
I wouldn't think so. I think that once we explain to the parents the reason that we want to go to a K-8 model, when you talk about more parental involvement in the K-8s, when you talk about higher academic achievement in the K-8s, those are a couple of the main points. And once they learned that and they understood that and they knew why we were doing it, we got a lot of support.
So you do that concept. So the high school concept all basically stayed the same, right? I mean, there's not much movement in those.
High school concepts stay the same. High schools will be 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders still.
Okay, so that was probably an easy process. What do you think that you talked about community was one of the original pitches when you talked about that. Do you feel you kept the community concept when you changed concepts?
When we redrew those boundary lines and we had to move some students, one of our priorities was to draw those boundary lines in a way that kept the integrity of the community intact. And we felt we did that. And as we went to the community and we presented what we wanted to do and we talked about those boundary lines, a lot of parents said, wait, I don't think that's a good idea. Let's do this instead.
Okay.
And of the 24 changes that we made in terms of the schools, of those boundary line changes, we made 17 changes after we went to the community and listened to them.
Okay. So you really were listening then.
Absolutely. We want to make the community happy, and they're in this community, they're part of the school system, and they should have some say.
Okay. If there's any last minute questions, can they just contact the district? Call
Absolutely.
Or on the web?
671-8200, and that is operating to the public schools, and they'll be able to connect you to the right person.
All right, Brian Murphy, thanks very much for your time. We appreciate it, and that's your Talk Back.